Crash course on the American population and ethnic groups, including Black Lives Matter and racial justice issues. The United States is a diverse country with a population of over 331 million people. It is a melting pot of different ethnicities, religions, and cultures. The country has a complex history of race relations, with ongoing issues of discrimination, inequality, and racial justice. Population. The United States is the third most populous country in the world, after China and India. The population is predominantly urban, with over 80% of the population living in cities and suburbs. The country is also aging, with a growing population of older adults due to advances in healthcare and an increase in life expectancy. Ethnic groups. The United States is a diverse country with a wide range of ethnic groups. The largest ethnic group is white Americans, who make up over 76% of the population. Hispanic Americans are the second largest ethnic group, accounting for over 18% of the population. African Americans make up around 13% of the population, while Asian Americans and Native Americans make up around 6% and 1% of the population, respectively. Black Lives Matter and racial justice issues. The United States has a complex history of race relations, with ongoing issues of discrimination, inequality, and racial justice. The Black Lives Matter movement was founded in 2013 in response to the acquittal of George Zimmerman in the shooting death of Trayvon Martin, an unarmed black teenager. The movement aims to bring attention to the disproportionate use of police force against black people and to address systemic racism in the criminal justice system. The movement gained national attention in 2014 after the police shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. This led to protests and demonstrations across the country, with many people calling for police reform and an end to systemic racism. The movement has continued to gain momentum in recent years, with protests and demonstrations in response to the deaths of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and many others. The Black Lives Matter movement has sparked important conversations about racial justice and has led to changes in policies and practices across the country. For example, many police departments have implemented body camera programs and have revised their use of force policies. However, there is still much work to be done to address systemic racism and to achieve true racial justice. Examples. The Civil Rights Movement. The Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s was a pivotal moment in American history. Led by figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., the movement aimed to end racial segregation and discrimination. The movement achieved significant victories, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which helped to protect the rights of African Americans. The Japanese internment. During World War II, the United States government forced over 120,000 Japanese Americans into internment camps. This was a violation of their civil liberties and a reflection of the country's long history of discrimination against Asian Americans. The Dakota Access Pipeline protests. In 2016, the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline in North Dakota sparked protests by Native American tribes and environmental activists. The pipeline was seen as a threat to the environment and to sacred Native American sites. The protests brought attention to the ongoing struggles of Native American communities and their fight for recognition and justice. The United States is a diverse country with a complex history of race relations. The ongoing issues of discrimination and inequality are a reminder of the work that still needs to be done to achieve true racial justice and equality for all. History. The United States has a long history of immigration, with people from all over the world coming to the country to start new lives. The early settlers were mainly from Europe, but over time, immigrants came from Africa, Asia, and Latin America. This has led to a diverse population with a wide range of cultures and traditions. However, the history of the United States is also marked by a legacy of discrimination and inequality. African Americans were brought to the country as slaves, and even after slavery was abolished, they faced segregation and discrimination. Native Americans were forced from their land and subjected to forced relocation and cultural genocide. Asian Americans and Hispanic Americans faced discrimination and exclusionary policies such as the Chinese Exclusion Act and the Bracero Program. Current challenges. Today, the United States is still grappling with issues of racial justice and equality. The Black Lives Matter movement has brought attention to the disproportionate use of police force against black people and the need to address systemic racism in the criminal justice system. The COVID-19 pandemic has also highlighted existing health disparities and the disproportionate impact of the virus on communities of color. Immigration is another contentious issue in the United States, with ongoing debates about border security, undocumented immigrants, and asylum seekers. There are also ongoing discussions about affirmative action and diversity programs, with some arguing that they are necessary to address past discrimination and promote diversity, while others argue that they perpetuate discrimination and are unfair to those who are not part of underrepresented groups. Examples: the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This landmark legislation outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. It was a major victory for the civil rights movement and helped to protect the rights of African Americans and other marginalized groups. The Dreamers, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals (DACA) program, established in 2012, protects individuals who were brought to the United States as children and are undocumented from deportation. These individuals are often referred to as Dreamers, and the program has been a source of controversy, with ongoing debates about its legality and the fate of those who are protected by it. The George Floyd protests. The death of George Floyd in police custody in May 2020 sparked protests across the United States and around the world. The protests brought attention to issues of police brutality and systemic racism in the criminal justice system, and led to calls for police reform and racial justice. Here are top THNIC groups in USA. White, non-Hispanic, 60.1%. Hispanic, Latino 18.5%. Black, African American 12.4%. Asian 6.1%. American Indian, Alaska Native 0.9%. Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander 0.2%. Two or more races 2.7%. Other 0.1%. It's important to note that these categories are fluid and constantly evolving, and that many people identify with multiple ethnic or racial groups. In conclusion, the United States is a diverse country with a complex history of race relations. While progress has been made in addressing issues of discrimination and inequality, there is still much work to be done to achieve true racial justice and equality for all. The ongoing debates about immigration, affirmative action, and diversity programs are a reminder of the importance of continued discussions and efforts to address these challenges. Here is a song on American population and ethnic groups, including Black Lives Matter and racial justice issues. Verse 1. We come from all corners of the world. A melting pot, our flag unfurled. But deep beneath the surface lies a legacy of pain and cries. Chorus. We are the American population. Diverse and full of variation. But we stand united in our quest for justice and equality, no less. Verse 2. Black Lives Matter, we shout loud. Their struggles we cannot disavow. Years of systemic racism and hate. No more will we accept this fate. Chorus. We are the American population. Diverse and full of variation. But we stand united in our quest for justice and equality, no less. Bridge. Hispanic, Asian, Native, White. Each with their own fight. But together, we are stronger. In this fight that lasts longer. Chorus. We are the American population. Diverse and full of variation. But we stand united in our quest for justice and equality, no less. Verse 3. Let's tear down these walls of hate. And embrace our differences, not negate. For only then can we truly be a land that's truly free. Chorus. We are the American population. Diverse and full of variation. But we stand united in our quest for justice and equality, no less. *****. We hope this video has given you a taste of all the incredible experiences America has to offer. If you're ready to start planning your own adventure to North America, please ensure to use our Booking.com referral link, https://www.booking.com/index.html?A=7989335 to book your flights, hotels, car rentals, local attractions, and more. It's an easy and kind way to support this channel and make sure you get the best possible deals on your trip. Thank you. AnHub Metaverse Team.